Alright, hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle, and today I'm going to be going over the busiest season in video games, which tends to always be the fall season. Pretty much September until the end of the year generally is when most of the biggest AAA games are coming out. And every year, since I started this channel, I like to go over the games that I'm really looking forward to, as there generally tends to be a lot of games. Now, this is probably the first year since I've done this, and I've done this since 2011, so that's why I think that's seventh time now. That I feel there isn't a crazy amount of games. There's still a good chunk of games here, but 2017 has been a little bit of a lackluster year in terms of big games that are coming out. There's some big games, but I'm just kind of and I don't know if that's just my age or it's just perhaps this year just is kind of a little bit off. But yeah, this year is I'm just not crazy about a lot of the games that are coming out. So this does not include anything that came out August or before, even though August did have the Uncharted spin-off from Uncharted 4. Can't remember what that one's called. That one did come out in August, though. And also the Mario Rabbids RPG did come out in August as well, which I was very much looking forward to. But anyway, we're going with September. So, September 4th on Xbox One, PS4, PC, Destiny 2 is coming out. Now, I have played Destiny 1. I did like it, but I'm not just super excited to get this game right away. It does look good, but and I think that a lot of people have kind of been saying that this is more so what's supposed to be the original Destiny. I don't know. I haven't seen anything since it actually came out. I just heard previous stuff before it was actually released last week. Next up is Knack 2 on PlayStation 4, also on September 4th, so last week. And this one, I would probably say that I am looking forward to it because I have beaten Knack on PlayStation 4. And I did enjoy it. It wasn't the greatest game of all time, definitely not. But it was a fun little enjoyable platformer that I really enjoyed back when I first played it because it really did show a really nice scenery for what the PlayStation 4 could do, which at the time was amazing. Obviously, it's been surpassed greatly by other games, but it was still at that time kind of like a fresh new experience. And I like platformers. We do not have nearly enough platformers anymore. Not that I would want to see like it overloaded like FPSs are nowadays, or not even nowadays. I think the FPS is finally starting to die down and we're starting to get other genres, which is really cool because I don't want any genre to really be overbearing and, you know, this is the year of 10,000 RPGs. I don't want that. That's my favorite type of game, but I don't want, especially not RPGs, because those take forever to beat. Anyway, next up, speaking of RPGs, Monster Hunter Stories for the 3DS came out on Friday, September 8th. That one does look very good. I think this one was, it looks a little bit more like of a cartoonish Monster Hunter, but it does have story elements involved in it, and so it's kind of like Monster Hunter, but it has more of a cartoonish, maybe Nintendo style to it, which is perfectly fine. And I think that there's a little bit more to it than most Monster Hunter games, which does look interesting. Next up is Ys 8. Let's try to pronounce this. Lacrimosa of Dana. Probably butchered that, but the Ys 8 is coming out on PlayStation 4 and Vita on September 12th, tomorrow. I don't know if I want to pick this up for PlayStation 4 or the Vita because I generally like giving the Vita a little bit of love because it barely gets any games out nowadays that interest me. Like there are still games coming out for the system, not a lot, but they're really niche RPGs that generally aren't my cup of tea. Whereas Ys 8 would definitely be the kind of thing that I'm looking for. So I'm still not sure if I want to pick it up for PlayStation 4 or Vita, but it does look good. Next up we have on September 15th, Metroid Samus Returns, which is the reimagining, I think, of Metroid 2, which was originally on, I think, the Game Boy? I think it's Game Boy. So yeah, it actually looks very good, and I do want to pick it up, but I don't know if I'll get it right away. Oh, the other thing too is I'm going to admit something, I have never played any Metroid game, side-scrolling or third-person. I have not played any of them, and I feel that's probably the biggest series that I have not touched at all yet. And I really need to get into that. Because also the thing is that the Metroid, especially the side-scrolling ones, really do look like something that I would enjoy. But I've always, for whatever reason, I just never got into them. Like, it wasn't like, oh, the game looks boring. No, it looked fine. It's just, for whatever reason, I just never tried them. And yeah, so I think I might try the first one on NES, like pick it up on a virtual console or something, and then try this new reimagining on the 3DS at some point. Next up, we have Dishonored: Death of the Outsider for Xbox One, PS4, coming out on September 15th as well. I've need to get into the Dishonored series, and this is kind of like an expansion because I don't think it's full price either. Same thing with, there was another game that wasn't full price. Nat 2 is not actually full price. It's like a budget title, and Dishonored: Death of the Outsider is like a kind of like an expansion to Dishonored 2, from what I've heard. But I do need to get into that series. Next, it was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, coming out on September 19th. Does look kind of cool, but it's a fighting game, which I very much like. I guess the Marvel vs. Capcom series, but I'm not crazy hyped about it. I would love to be able to go back and play like the first Marvel superheroes that they had on PlayStation 1 and like the original Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2 probably. The new ones, they're nice, but they don't bring any nostalgia that the first ones do, and that's kind of what I really like them for, is the nostalgia and the cartoon sprites that they would have you battling him. Next up, it's now October. There was nothing else in September that really caught my eye. Batman: The Enemy Within for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, coming out on October 3rd. This is the Telltale games, which is another thing that I probably have to admit, I've never played a Telltale game, and I have The Walking Dead Season 1 and The Wolf Among Us Season 1, or whatever. I think The Wolf Among Us, that's the only thing they have so far. I have them both on my Xbox One because of Xbox Live Games with Gold, but I just haven't played them yet. They do look like something that I enjoy, considering that I loved Firewatch on PlayStation 4, which is now also on Xbox One, in case you're wondering. But yeah, I love that kind of game, and it seems like this is kind of a point-and-click adventure, so yeah, I should pick these games up, especially Batman, and this is the second Batman, so they released the first one last year, and this is the sequel to it, so on physical format, it's being released on October 3rd. Then we have Forza Motorsport 7 on Xbox One, coming out October 3rd as well. Racing game. Forza Motorsport isn't really my cup of tea, but Forza Horizon is more my side of racing if I'm going to be playing a racing game. Then we have Leighton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy for the 3DS on October 6th. That's another series that I have not gotten into. I do have the first game on the DS, so I could start that series at any given moment, but so many games, man. So I'm kind of okay that 2017 doesn't have a crazy amount of games that I really want, because so many games that I haven't played in my backlog. Not necessarily this year. There is technically still a lot of games, but I should be okay with this. Yeah, we'll get to that in another video. Middle-earth: Shadow of War for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, coming out October 10th. I will say that the Middle-earth game, the first one, was a pretty darn good game. And this one looks even better. But it's not like I was needing this game to be released. I would have been fine if they would have just made that one Middle-earth game. I would like an actual Lord of the Rings game that really feels like you're not just in the world of Lord of the Rings and kind of like off in this other distant area. I would want a lot more lore. Almost more than this. Like, I don't want a crazy amount of story for the characters that they're going to show. I don't really care about that. Have the gameplay exactly as it was, which was fine, but have more lore about Lord of the Rings. I really want to find out, maybe, go east and find out what the two blue wizards are doing. Something like that would be just so interesting. Or just things that tie into the movie, so you have these characters that are and you can kind of see the characters going by, like the main characters going and doing their own thing. Like being a soldier, going to Helm's Deep, battling over there, and you see Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli. I think that would be really cool and fun. But anyway, I think there's another. I don't know. I thought Friday the 13th, the game already came out. I could be wrong, but apparently October 13th, something of that nature is coming out for Friday the 13th, the game. I don't know. It looks like it's a budget title, which is always good. But I thought it already came out. Maybe it only came out digitally. I don't know. I didn't look into this. I'm sorry. Next up, we have WWE 2K18 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, also on October 13th. This game looks like if they finally revamped the engine for what the character models look like, which is really cool because I felt that the last few have really looked all the same. Really haven't enjoyed the last few. 2K14, which was on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, was my last favorite wrestling game, and I am hoping that this one will kind of head more towards that. And it's crazy the amount of characters. Like, the roster is insane. Finally, Kurt Angle is back in a WWE game, which is just amazing. I'm so happy that he's back. I have his music playing in the background. Because the other thing too is that you can't bring in music, like your own music, into the game. So you have to kind of stick with what they have, which is kind of unfortunate. So you can never hear Kurt Angle's theme music, but now you finally can. Then we have Fire Emblem Warriors for the Nintendo Switch on October 20th. Right after that, the week after, October 27th, we have Super Mario Odyssey, also for the Nintendo Switch. I really feel that these games should have been pushed apart. Like maybe have Fire Emblem Warriors show up at the end of September, or I don't know, like have Fire Emblem Warriors in October, but then have Super Mario Odyssey come out in November, because there's nothing really coming out for the Switch in November that I'm looking at. So I don't really know why they did that, unless that's when Xenoblade Chronicles 2 comes out, because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is coming out apparently this year, but they don't have a release date yet for it. So, but it's yeah, 2 games, and there's like nothing in September really. I am looking forward to both. Super Mario Odyssey is definitely a day 1 pickup. Fire Emblem Warriors, I do want. It's basically like a what's it called? It's like Hyrule Warriors, but what's the original thing that I'm thinking of? Where's my PlayStation 2 games? Because I have one of them. Thought I had it. Apparently not. I thought Dynasty Warriors. Yes, Dynasty Warriors. There. My goodness. My mind just was not reading that. Dynasty Warriors, which a bunch of characters on the screen with a bunch of Fire Emblem characters. Looks really cool. Can't wait to play it, but not going to pick it up day 1, especially with Super Mario Odyssey coming out right afterwards. Also coming out on October 27th for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, which looks amazing. I really need to get the first one that came out on Xbox One, PlayStation 4. I think there's the New Blood or Old Blood and Enemy Within or something. I can't remember what the titles are, but there's one of them in an expansion. I want to pick up both of those because they do look really good. And then Wolfenstein 2 looks like crazy amounts of fun. Assassin's Creed Origins, which takes place in Egypt, comes out on October 27th as well for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I have played and beaten Assassin's Creed 1, and that was when it first came out, so I'm replaying it again because I kind of want to go through the entire series, and that's what, like 10 games? It's ridiculous. But I just don't want to jump into something that's, you know, light years away. That's when I'm glad that they took 2 years off, but it wasn't enough for me to catch up because I just didn't play them. But I am replaying currently Assassin's Creed 1 again. It's an alright game. I've heard that it picks up in the second one. Now we have November. Call of Duty World War II coming out for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 on November 3rd. Haven't really cared about Call of Duty ever since they went like into the future. This is a nice throwback, and hopefully it's more like what we want from Call of Duty, or at least what I want from Call of Duty. Sonic Forces for Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, PlayStation 4 coming out November 7th. Don't know how I feel about this game. I think it's one of those newer Sonic games, but I think it's more like Sonic Generations, if anything. So you're going to have like the side-scrolling and also the third-person Sonic, but it looks more like what we've been wanting from Sonic. Like, pretty much they made Sonic Generations, everybody was happy, and then after that they just completely went to things that we didn't want from Sonic. So it looks like this is finally going back to the Sonic Generations, which is hopefully a good game, because Sonic's, I really do like Sonic, and it's too bad that he doesn't get a lot of good games. Next up is Star Wars Battlefront 2, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, November 14th. I am looking forward to this. Don't feel like I really need it right now. Looks like a good game, but I have the first one, and it's more of the same. Although there is a single-player component apparently in this, which is cool. Next up is just for me, and I don't really want it for Xbox One or PlayStation 4, but The Sims 4 is coming out on November 14th on console. I might pick it up. I don't know. It's so much better on PC, but we'll see. And then we have Lego Marvel Super Heroes 2 coming out for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch, I believe. Also on November 14th. The first one was good, and the Lego games are generally pretty good. And then we have 2 games that are coming out this year. I think Skyrim, the Switch edition, is coming out November 11th, but I'm not 100% certain on that. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is supposed to come out this year, but we just don't know really when it's going to be coming out. So that's everything that I saw that I was interested in. Nothing in December, which usually there's only like 1 or 2 games that come out in December anyway. But yeah, not a crazy amount of games that I'm really looking forward to. Like, I look at September, there's nothing that I would want day 1. I will definitely pick up Ys 8 at some point down the line. Same thing with Knack 2. Probably Destiny 2 as well, but I'm going to wait much later down the line for that to be a cheaper buy. October, I mean, Middle Earth Shadow of War, I am looking forward to, but not a day one. Fire Emblem Wars, I am very much looking forward to, but just it's too close to Super Mario Odyssey. So Super Mario Odyssey is a day one buy. Wolfenstein 2 I am looking forward to, but it comes out the same day as Super Mario Odyssey, so I'll probably get that on like Black Friday or Christmas. And November, honestly, probably Call of Duty 2. I know Star Wars Battlefront 2 would probably potentially be the superior game, but we just had the other one, and I haven't played a Call of Duty since Black Ops 2. I used to get them every year, and then after Black Ops 2, I just wasn't interested in them. Although Black Ops 3 did interest me, I just never picked it up. So there you have it. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I am very much looking forward to that. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Skyrim on the Switch just to play it on the handheld, but I've bought this game twice already now. Once on Xbox 360, and then the Legendary or whatever the special edition was, the remaster for Xbox One. So I've had my fill of Skyrim games, but on handheld, I'm going to have to pick it up at some point too. So there you have it. Everything that's coming out in 2017 for the rest of the year, for the fall season. Not as much as it used to be, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I do want I want better games, and I'll talk about that in another video. So thank you all for watching. You've been Bearded In. Beardage.